I'm going to welcome everybody here. I'm going to take care of a little housekeeping stuff first and hand it over to Rich. Uh, we're going to have the chat open for any questions that come up while Rich is presenting, and at the end of his presentation, we'll go review those questions and ask Rich to answer them. And any other conversation we have time for. At the end. That will be the way it's been working so far. So I'll let Rich take it over.
Okay. Hi, good morning or afternoon, technically now. Everyone, my name is Rich Wills. I'm the Fundraising and Communications Manager at NAMI CT. And thank you all for joining us for day 3 of Be the Bridge, the support webinar series. Today, we're going to be focusing on our communications. Of course, yep, there we go. Elevating our voice, enhancing communications and outreach. There is a lot that is happening nowadays with communications, and it's become harder, and also it's become a little bit more exciting with the different options that are available to people to have messages come across. And the idea of this presentation is to help you and help everyone that's part of our greater community with latest techniques, strategies, and tools that are working for nonprofits right now. So why this matters now, 2024, 2025 has seen a surge in mental health needs, but also in digital noise. To stand out and serve our communities, we must communicate clearly, inclusively, and impactfully. The best nonprofits today are media savvy storytellers and strategic connectors, but that doesn't mean that everyone can't learn their techniques. So the key challenges facing NAMI CT and our affiliates, stigma still blocks access. Audiences are fragmented, especially younger versus older. Competing messages for information or entertainment media, and limited budgets for marketing and outreach. Despite our strong message, we're not always heard. Our audiences are diverse. Some trust us, others don't know us yet, which is a thing that we're going to talk about later in the presentation. And misinformation can drown out facts. That's why effective messaging isn't optional. It's something that we all need to consider when we are putting anything out there. It's necessary. It's necessary. So in the last couple of years, the trends in nonprofit communication have, hyper local storytelling. People trust local voices, shared client stories from CT towns. The nice things about our affiliates is that you are all spread out across the state. We have a lot of people who are grassroots, as that is what NAMI is. And when we make connections with people, it's really, really important that we capitalize on that, because members of the community sharing our message is really, really important. And that's working well with a lot of nonprofits across the country. Short form video, like TikTok and Reels that you find on Instagram and Facebook, that is the fastest growing awareness tool amongst 18 to 35-year-olds right now. All of the studies say that is how an awful lot of information is being communicated. And it's something that we all need to start thinking about in our messaging. AI-powered content tools automate social media, blogs, and newsletters with clarity and consistency. AI is one of those things that some people have a real big problem with. It has definitely contributed to a lot of noise out in the cyberspace, but it's a tool, and it's very, very helpful for messaging, especially if you find yourself not having the time to do a lot of robust narratives for your newsletters and the like. Inclusive language shift. Avoid clinical diagnostic heavy terms unless necessary. Speak in human-centered language. We are a organization that is focusing on the person, the people, and because of that, having messaging that really focuses on the self and the community is really, really important. And it's working with nonprofits out there that people are focusing on that. I'm sorry if you're hearing a cat in the background, by the way. Unfortunately, I have two, and one of them is very loud. Two-way communication and engagement, foster community by engaging via polls, comments, likes, and with this, we have the ability now to do metrics where we can see what sort of response rate we get from a lot of people when we put a message out there. Facebook and Instagram, they're great because we can actually see when people are doing views, we can see when people are approving of the message, and that's really, really important for us to keep in mind because of just so much noise out there that when a message does get through, it's even more critical. So real world examples that you may be aware of that are out there right now, like let's look at what others are doing well. For example, the Trevor Project's TikTok strategy has reached millions through authentic stories. They have regularly been putting out on both TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and on YouTube, very short recordings of people in the community. And they regularly call for people to submit their stories and their experience. This is doing an amazing job at bringing a community together and seeing a real response of what the Trevor Project is doing and improving the lives of people. Um, for other nonprofits, this is the sort of thing that we definitely want to mirror. For us, yes, the same thing. We have improved so many lives over the last 40 years. And whether it's through the affiliates or the state or the national, NAMI has been really, really important in a lot of people's lives. And being able to get video testimonies that are very, very short are incredibly important right now. They're working very, very well. Mental Health America uses downloadable toolkits paired with community webinars, kind of like what we're doing today. And it has been very, very helpful for a lot of people who work with them. That is something that we are going to be providing for you, as a matter of fact, for affiliates across the state. A lot of toolkits with graphics and other things that we have worked on over the last few months, and that we will be releasing to you next week. What's common between the Trevor Project's work and Mental Health America? Clear branding, emotional resonance, and messaging that is really connecting with the audience. People want to see that they are the people who are being represented and being helped by these organizations, and we can do that too. So that takes us to the Be the Bridge affiliate campaign. Over the summer, as a lot of you might know, there was a survey that was sent out to our affiliates, and we asked questions about what we can do to help and improve things in your lives. And a lot of the things that came up were communication questions, and then also particularly volunteer efforts to improve the amount of volunteers that we have for each of our organizations. And so one of the things that we did was we designed a campaign with Be the Bridge to empower affiliates with tools for volunteer recruitment. Like I said, it was in response to your requests for help. And our kits that we'll be given out to each of our affiliates includes graphics, flyers, social templates, a updated trifold, and postcard. This will have a united message across all the affiliates, but it will be unique to contacting you and your organization individually. We're hoping that this is going to result in a stronger volunteer recruitment. And like I said, the kits will be released following our webinar week. For just a sample of what we've been working on, these are just a couple of the Be the Bridge wordings that we've done. We're looking to improve people's experience with recruiting people for volunteers of all sorts, because after all, we all need help in a variety of different ways. So communication fundamentals. These are sort of things that we can all sort of embrace and really think about when we're trying to design what we're reaching out to people with. Understand your audiences. That's really, really important. We sort of have that down very, very well because our audiences are the people who we've been helping and the people who we are so often are volunteers that are have the exact same experience. And that's something that we should capitalize on and really focus on. Choosing the right channels for each population segment. And that's something we're going to talk about more in depth in a moment, because that one is very, very important and something that I think all of us from state to national to the local affiliates need to sort of refine a bit more. Set measurable goals. It's really, really important that when we are doing these messagings, that we're trying to figure out exactly what's resonating with people. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today is email fatigue, particularly because there's an awful lot of times that we are sending out messaging that it's getting lost. And it's important for us to be aware of that and to pivot to be able to get our message out to more people in a better way. So complete profiles with mission, contact, and calls and info and calls to action. It's important that whenever we're sending out any sort of information, that we remind people of what we're doing, of why we're here, of who we are, and that we remind them what's the easiest way to get in touch with us. A lot of you do this very, very well. So I don't have to preach. I'm preaching to the choir. But it's important to remember that the messaging always needs to remain with similar points. Reminders of the mission, the contact information, and a call to action to encourage people to take a step. Because as we all know with mental health, one of the biggest issues that we have is that any sort of impediment between the person and eventually getting help it will be a stumbling block for them. So it's important for us to try to not only encourage, but also make it as streamlined as possible so that they're able to get from where they are now to help in the easiest and shortest path. Core messaging, as we talked about, the 3 C's framework: clarity, use simple, specific language; consistency, all of the messaging, no matter whether it's on TikTok or Facebook or email, you want to have the mindset of that every single time that you're sharing a message of hope or safety or mental health, anything in particular, that you're remaining consistent with the message, because that makes people feel connected between the different things that are coming out. Connection, lead with emotion, support with data. Um, that is something that NAMI does very, very well. We focus on improving people's lives directly, which of course is very, very emotional. Mental health is something that lots and lots of people struggle with, and it's good to be able to share that story, and that we actually have the data to be able to back up the actual results of people participating. So that is really, really important. So clarity, consistency, connection. So whether you're creating an email, flyer, or social post, you really want to focus on these 3 pillars. For instance, instead of saying we offer peer-led services for dual diagnosis individuals, try, you,
Rich, you didn't
yes.
move your slide.
Oh, no, I'm still on this one.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were.
No, no, no. That's good. Thank you for that up.
Okay.
Yeah. You're so instead of something that sounds cumbersome, we offer peer-led services for dual diagnosis individuals. You know, you really want to touch upon that closer connection. You're not alone. Our trained peers are here to help. No judgment. You know, and it's a message it's a message that resonates more on a human level as opposed to a clinical one. Community-centered messaging. Our affiliates succeed most when the message comes from within the community. We talked about this before, and spotlighting local leaders, creating partnerships with schools, libraries, and businesses. You want your own audience to be ambassadors to what's going on. And I know that it's very, very hard sometimes to make connections like that. But it's really important for us to have people who are these anchor points, these cornerstones of your local community, that will be involved in things that we do. I'll give you a great example. I absolutely love a program that NAMI Southeast does, that they work with schools to do essays with students on mental health, um, partnering with the principal, the superintendent, local teachers. These are people who are making a difference in the community and the lives of your potential audience and your community. That is an amazing partnership. Those sort of moments, and being able to in your messaging reference these people really serves as anchoring what you're saying and you as NAMI in their community, and saying we're here for you and we're amongst you. So where is communication heading? We touched upon this in a moment ago, about email fatigue. Uh, as we strive to make our mental health messaging more impactful, one thing is becoming increasingly clear: email is no longer enough. Um, and there are old and new strategies that are going to be helpful for us going forward, and it's something for you to consider. Um, just to give you an idea, let's start with some sort of data that's out there. The average person receives now over 121 emails per day, which is from a statistic from 2024, which I might say might be even worse now. In the nonprofit sectors, open rates have dropped to 22% or lower, which I will tell you is very accurate to our own experience. That there are a number of people who regularly open emails, but unfortunately, most people are overwhelmed. They're drowning in newsletters, alerts, and marketing blasts, and it's not just about low engagement; it's fatigue. Um, and so one of the things that you have to consider in this upcoming year and going forward is that, hilariously, snail mail is back. It might not sound like it makes any sense, because for years and years we were told it was an archaic model that was going the way of the dodo. But because of AI protocols that are working with Gmail and Yahoo and Hotmail and a whole bunch of these other things, people's emails are just getting filtered out automatically sometimes. And because of that, there are other methods that we need to explore and consider, that won't just that it's not that we're abandoning email. It's just we can't rely on it alone. To give you an idea, it that in a world filled with digital noise, people are starting to appreciate physical mail again. Um, and it's shown in a number of different ways, like for instance, a number of different nonprofits have doubled their response rate by using a follow-up text message after an email, 3 days after an email. NAMI Georgia, for instance, had a massively increased turnout when they sent physical invitations to community leaders and schools for an event. Now, they did this in conjunction with an email, but it was the physical email itself that showed, not the physical mail itself, that showed the result that they were looking for. And that's something that we have to consider for our small events, for our larger events, that doing a hybrid model of communication now is going to be more important than ever. A lot of people don't have a lot of experience with TikTok. That's something that we're going to touch on a little bit later today. But one of the things that is a very untapped market for getting our message out as a nonprofit is podcasts. A lot of people exist out there that are listening to these services and these programs that are online. And if we form partnerships with these people, it's a method that is currently underutilized, but incredibly helpful to additionally get out there because there is no filtering from a podcast with someone being able to share their story or just share a message from us. So as we've talked about with what's working for mental health campaigns, people trust messages from people they've already known. This is why we were talking about that we have to empower local voices from peer leaders to educators and to also law enforcement allies to be the face of our outreach. It's going to be more and more important that people have trustworthy names and people they appreciate in our communities attached to our messaging because it is harder and harder to trust what is being seen online, particularly. Um, and it's really important for us to, especially as affiliates and as Connecticut, um, to focus on the people who make our state, our towns, our counties wonderful and include them in our messaging. Additionally, story-driven appeals produce they the data shows that story-driven appeals produce two times higher engagement than facts alone, which is again why it's so important where you have projects like the Trevor Project that is doing these crowdsourced stories that talk about how much their lives are being improved. So it's very, very important that we as affiliates and as a state try our best to utilize the personal messaging from people whose lives have been improved because they're very effective and it's been proven. So, and now we're going to get into a little bit more of the meat of of discussing how to get your message out. As you see, Facebook, most people agree in the communications community that Facebook is ideal for long form posts, live discussions, and events. They have a lot of the mechanics that's already there, being able to get a message out on their platform that you don't have to worry about a character amount. It's pretty helpful. Instagram, visual quotes, reels, carousels, a whole lot of just very short form, either still images or video. TikTok has been, as we've talked about with the Trevor Project, raw, authentic storytelling under 90 seconds has been incredibly helpful for them. This is the sort of thing that you want to focus on because it doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be professional. You don't need fancy graphics for TikTok. You need just that emotional resonance. And you will get that if you just share people's stories or maybe even just a moment from one of your activities or programs that people feel comfortable to share that their lives were improved. Email. Email is still best for monthly bulletins, success stories, and donation links currently. But as we've talked about, email alone is not enough. And one of the things that we are going to encourage people about going forward is that monthly bulletins, stories of success, not so much the donation links, but the first two. Those are the sort of things that could be posted in local communities, which brings us to the in-person aspect. Community boards, libraries, healthcare partners, any sort of people who we feel like our people will come across our messaging is really, really important to get out there in the community. I know it's hard because, after all, you need people to be able to be the boots on the ground and get out there. But the good news is that there are a lot of libraries that you can email them flyers where you don't have to physically go there anymore. And they will print them and they will post them on their boards after they've done a approval. And I can tell you that it works and it's very, very successful It just takes the email. It just takes the communication. Um,
Mm.
there are plenty of places like senior centers as well that will do the exact same thing. And it's really, really important for us to spread the message in places that those that we can help can visually see us and be reminded of us. So social media best practices to continue on that subject. Facebook, great with community engagement, older and local audiences, believe it or not. Statistics have been showing that the age brackets for Facebook isn't the college kids that everyone always associates. It is, in fact, actually, it can be older audiences and local audiences, obviously. I don't know about you, but I'm part of several Facebook groups that are about the town I live in, and it's been very, very helpful and very good for me to engage and know what's happening around my area. And so Facebook is still very prime and king for that. Instagram, as we've talked about, visual storytelling, younger adults and teens. I don't need to tell you that Instagram and TikTok and that short form consumption is very ideal for our younger audiences. As a matter of fact, we were working very recently with a couple of high schoolers who were doing an entire mental health campaign that was completely on TikTok. And that was really, really successful with their demographic because that's how a lot of them get their information. TikTok, short form videos, Gen Z, creative awareness. There's a reason why that's so successful. They speak with the short form and also just the dynamic messaging of video. It really connects with that audience. LinkedIn is one that is a variety of has a variety of different audiences in it. Professional outreach, volunteer, and corporate partners. That's going to be really, really helpful to make connections with the local businesses that are out there. And if you can form a LinkedIn presence for your affiliate specifically, and try to capitalize on the other businesses. Oh, so sorry. Yeah, interrupting cat. If you can make connections with other people, other businesses in your communities, that's going to lead to that local identity that we need to share our messages because that's going to be really, really important. People want to see that members of their community are involved, and a lot of times that does mean businesses. So something to consider is having a more robust LinkedIn presence.
Mm.
So tools that you can use that we're going to talk a little bit more about, particularly Canva. Canva is a wonderful program that is really, really helps with design. And what we're going to talk about in a moment is that they really make themselves ideal to help out nonprofits. And aside from that, it's really, really easy to generate graphics and flyers, and you don't need to be a digital artist. I happen to know a bunch of them and you know I tell them all the time you know I really wish that I had artistic ability, but the good news is I can fake it. And with Canva it is most definitely very, very easy for you to do a layout that's incredibly simple. And here's the really nice part: you can size things for the very specific social media that you're looking to release information on. Additionally, ChatGPT, you know, for drafting blog posts, messages, and social captions. It's a tool, like I said, you know, as long as you use it responsibly and you understand that some of the that if you ask it for information to share, might not be right. So, you know, but if you use it to help you fill in some messaging, it makes the writer's block that I've seen way too many people involved in community-driven organizations get stuck on just simply because they're not sure what to put to paper. And it's a very, very useful tool, and it is free for very basic use. MailChimp is a great program for automating email newsletters. There are different payment options. So I do believe that there is a basic level that you can use that will make things a lot easier. I used to use it a lot with school newsletters, as a matter of fact. Hootsuite is a program that is very, very helpful. That they do offer a reduced rate for nonprofits. And basically, what it does is it operates as a planner for you to be able to release information on different social media platforms. It's incredibly helpful. You can, at the same moment, plan out and schedule posts for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and a whole bunch of different things simultaneously, and then you can set it and forget it, which makes things really, really easy, especially since the thing that we keep hearing is that a lot of people feel like they don't have enough time to do a lot of these posts and that they need someone to be on it all the time. Good news is that you could spend a morning getting your messaging ready during the beginning of the week and then don't even have to worry about it for the rest of the week or even the month, depending on how much that you plan on putting in there. Otter.ai transcribe interviews for blogs or stories. That's very, very helpful if if you're looking to capture people's stories and you're not looking to have it be verbatim. So that could be a useful tool. As we talked about, what is Canva and why use it? It empowers anyone to create professional graphics. It has millions of templates, photos, videos, and animations, which include being able to create reels for TikTok and Instagram. And you can make these very, very easily. Small nonprofits can compete visually with large organizations without hiring designers, as we talked about. And getting started is very, very simple. You create an account, you complete the nonprofit application, and then after you give an approval, you can have an awful lot of access available to you. And it makes life so much simpler for trying to design so many things because, as we've discussed, an awful lot of social media is still very, very useful in communication, and graphics are incredibly important to capture people's attention. And so this program, more than probably any of the other ones that we're talking about today, will serve you very, very well if you just give it a little bit of time to learn how to use it. It is incredibly simple, and cannot I cannot sing its praises enough. So from message to movement, it's important for us to be aware of what our messaging is. It's really, is it clear, the communications that you have right now, is it clear? Does it have that human voice? Is it trying to bring someone in and include them into the story, the movement, the feeling? It's really, really important. It's important for us all to recognize that where we are right now is a world that's saturated with messaging, saturated with noise. It's important for us to release those messages that are going to be clear, concise, and connect, as we've discussed. Um, and one of the things that we, in addition to our Be the Bridge information that we're going to be sharing with you as part of your kits, is our Here for CT campaign. Because as we've discussed, there are so many people across the state that we've helped over the last 40 years, and that is wonderful. There are many, heaps of people who don't know us, and it is incredible just how many blind spots there are across the state. Sometimes it's just simply that people aren't getting the messages because you have messaging going out regularly to the same groups and communities, and so you need to find a new avenue. But sometimes it's just that they're hearing too many messages, which is why it's even more important that our words get out there so that there's a chance that they will connect and they will see it and they will find out about us and learn what we can do to help them. So it's really, really important for us to embrace these different communications that are out there, because it is become a world that certain avenues will be very successful with certain people, and then other avenues, might get eclipsed or might get replaced, and which is why we have to keep track of it and sort of be aware of of what we can do better. So give you an idea of utilization of Canva and particularly of messaging getting out there for video. We have a little video. Yep, nope. Well, okay. The Here for CT campaign. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. This campaign that we're sharing materials with everyone across the state is just a statewide awareness and engagement campaign. We're just looking to increase awareness, increase people's understanding that we are here for them, and that we will do what we can to help. Um, and it will be important that we try to share this on many platforms as possible.
We're NAMI Connecticut and we're here for CT. Real people in your community are here to help. For 40 years, we've been here for Connecticut and we're here for you. Free peer mental health support is waiting. We have 9 locations across Connecticut: Elm City, Farmington Valley, Greater Bridgeport, Manchester, Shoreline, Southeastern, Southwest, Waterbury and Wyndham. We offer many groups focusing on young adults, college students, families, adults, caregivers and veterans. Join us and start your journey at namict.org. For more immediate support, please contact our helpline at 800-950-6264 or the CT crisis line at 988. Thank you.
And to give you an idea, that was created completely on Canva, including with an AI voice, which was very, very helpful. It with the techniques that we have available to us with these certain programs, it is even more important that we try to embrace doing different communications that we normally wouldn't have. Like I said, TikTok is one of those things that I think a lot of people still assume is just for a very certain demographic. That demographic is getting wider and wider as time moves on, and being able to embrace communicating in different ways than we haven't in years past is going to be really, really important for us to be able to get the message through. Because again, if we're not on the right avenue, it's not gonna, the message isn't going to get through. It's going to get filtered out, or it's just not going to be heard. So it's important for us to expand our idea of what are the sort of communications avenues that we should embrace. So our mission is vital, and our voice must match its importance. It's important for us to become better communicators, bolder advocates, and more impactful partners in the mental health movement. When people hear us, it gives them the opportunity to feel seen, because we can help them with that, and we can let them know that they're not alone. And so it's really, really important for us to do everything we can to try to embrace these new models, and pick back up some older ones that we might have discarded a few years prior to. But I hope that the discussion today was a little bit enlightening, and I would love to open it up to Q&A if anyone has any questions.
We're NAMI.
Will we be having something like that you just showed us shared with us in the package?
Yes. Yes, that video, as well as another one, and many graphics and flyers, and other social medias posts that we've already created will be available for each affiliate.
Excellent. Okay.
So, Rich, thank you for a great presentation, bringing these ideas and resources to NAMI Connecticut affiliates. I think maybe this is a good opportunity to make a pitch to the representatives of the affiliates who are on this call to join our monthly marketing and communications committee meetings that are co-led by Rich and myself. That's a great way to connect and talk about the the resources that you need, that you're getting, to talk about, you know, are you getting good feedback? Do you need support with data collection? So this is a lot of work for any one affiliate, but we find that the mutual support through our meetings can be really helpful. So I can put my contact information in the chat. And so any of you who would like to be added to the email list for the invitations to go out on a monthly basis, you can reach out to me.
Is there a certain day and time that the meetings are held?
There are, and so let me take a look, because of course I'm blanking in my head now. I believe our current schedule is to meet on the third Thursday of each month, the fourth Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30 on Zoom.
Thank you.
Rich, that was an excellent presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I learned a lot
Uh,
too.
Well, it was an interesting journey to canvas a lot of what's been happening in the nonprofit world, because we are encountering a lot of similar stories from what the experience that we are feeling ourselves. And it's been very, very interesting to see people trying to adapt to the ever-changing world. So it's important for us to try to embrace as many different options as possible. And like I said, there are certain things that can help us do that.
I love that you said snail mail is back, because I'm a big person of like brochures and flyers and something I can tangibly hold in my hand, otherwise I will forget. So I'm glad to feel validated by that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're definitely onto something.
Something I've been really aware of lately, because I've been doing it myself, is unsubscribing from email communications and other communications, digital, electronic communications, because I'm just swamped between personal things and work things and family and all of that. And I'm finding that not all of the communications I have, I'm not getting a lot of the communications anymore I used to get, because I've I've cut down, and I think a lot of people are doing that. They just get too much email, and I've been worrying about notifications when we do fundraising, like or do the walk or have our conference where we want to reach out to larger communities. And so I don't know if being part of NAMI Connecticut, I don't know what's reaching our public out there, and hope we can get more people following us in all aspects. So Rich, that's one of the things I've been thinking a lot about lately, is how do we ensure that people are finding us in the onslaught of electronic communications.
That's the problem. A lot of the standard methods that everyone has been telling us is king for the last 15 years. Email was the up and comer, that was the exciting thing, and that it was what was going to save so many people's marketing departments and communications. but now the game is rigged against organizations to be able to communicate in that fashion now.
Yeah.
And so embracing older models, but also looking to expand our presence in places that we've been light on before become even more important. One of the things that we are definitely looking into is having a more robust LinkedIn presence. We're going to be advertising in periodicals across the state through Hearst Media. There are a lot of avenues that traditionally we haven't explored, but it's even more important now that we do. So,
Thank you.
I think I could just throw in from my own personal experience that no matter what the different media that organizations use, I find that if they send me too many emails in a week, or they send me too much snail mail in a month, or they text me too many times in a day, that is what is killing. That is when I am unsubscribing and ripping things up. You
right,
know, it's just
right,
too much by this. These are sometimes organizations I support monetarily on a monthly basis, and I'm happy to hear what they're up to, but I don't need to hear it 5 times in a month. You know,
right.
it's just bombardment. It feels to me like bombardment.
And that's very much true. I remember less than 10 years ago, Giving Tuesday, when it first came
Mhm.
out, was a very novel thing. But now everyone is completely bombarded and hammered on Giving Tuesday by lots and lots
Mhm.
of organizations that they appreciate. But all of those together, it adds up and it breaks the camel's back, and all those other
Mhm. Yep.
metaphors. And it's really something that you have to be aware of, and you have to switch strategies to try to ride the wave and not alienate your communities. So,
It's funny because I sort of have a ritual in the morning too, because it's not just the communication that comes through, but on the itself, but it comes to me on different platforms. I mean, I check my computer email for two different sites, my work email, which I can also do on my phone, but then there's all the chats and the texts and things that I get through Messenger on Facebook, and then on my phone. So I've got too many places also. It's not all consolidated for me into one thing where I can go to my phone and get everything. So maybe I need to have more apps to bring it all together. But
Mm.
um, it's a lot. It's a lot to do.
yes.
Are
My,
there,
my daughter was freaking out that I have over 1,800 unread emails on my when she was looking at my phone the other day. So
well, that
yeah,
freaks me out too.
yes. Oh,
Yeah, because maybe two of them are really important.
Like one from me.
yeah.
Um, Thank you. This was a really great presentation, and I wish all of our affiliates could see it, but I know that we are getting this out to everyone. If we'll give a last call for any questions or discussion, and again, I just want to thank Rich. So, is there anything else? Any more questions,
Hi,
comments?
hi, yes, it's JoJo, everyone. I'm speaking from the Bridgeport affiliate. Sorry I hopped on late. I'm like at work right now, but I just wanted to ask if, excuse me, this presentation will be emailed out to us of things that were covered from the first half of the call.
Mhm.
That's my
I,
understanding.
Yes.
yes, and we
We
will
will.
also have. Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
said we will email it out to the people who attended, but we will also be posting the slideshow and the actual video recording of this presentation. The recording will be on YouTube, so I'll be sending out information when that's available, and we'll probably post the slideshows, PowerPoint slideshows on our website, and we'll let you know when that's available as well.
Okay, perfect.
But
And
if
Thank
you
you.
and the link,
attended and I have your email address, I will send you the slideshow separately.
Okay, sounds good. Thank
and
you
the
so
and
much.
the links providing the affiliate kits will also be on
Yep.
our website. So,
Okay.
and we'll let everybody know. So, thank you.
All right. Well,
for
thank you
doing
very much. And we'll see you all again and come to our conference.
that.
Okay.
Thanks.
You.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Bye.